For today, Max, what is it you want to work on? What would be the greatest outcome you can get?
So I have something in mind. So it's also again about clarity. And, I would love to have clarity on the person I really would like to work with.
Hi everyone, I'm here today with Max and we had one coaching session before and I'm very curious with what he tells me today. And I hope everyone who is watching this video can get a lot out of it. And now, Max, this time is all for you. Hello, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Monica.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. So after our last session, I felt really energized and empowered and just motivated to get started with the planning, because that was basically what I wanted to do, to make the milestones, to reach my goal so I can start with my challenge. And I mean, that's what I did. I have now figured out my timeline and the milestones that I want to achieve. So I have a clear roadmap, so to say, on how to take action. And yeah, that feels really good, like gives me clarity that was missing in a sense before.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So you got the motivation, you did take action. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You did the planning and you have the clarity that was missing. That sounds amazing.
Yes.
And yeah, go ahead.
And I think also in addition, because there was this fear we were looking into, like that was sort of holding me back. I think that's just gone now. It's just like, now, of course, there are other things that I would need to get further, but like the thing that kept me stuck in the beginning, I think that's just gone. It's like this straight line that I mentioned last time, that's now really like visible for me, and it feels really good.
I'm so happy to hear that. The fear is gone and then there is a straight line. You know where to go. There's clarity. That's amazing. And for today, Max, what is it you want to work on? What would be the greatest outcome you can get?
So I have something in mind. So it's also again about clarity. And, I would love to have clarity on the person I really would like to work with. Like, who is this person? What are they struggling with? And like, what do they really want? So I can really then specifically create the challenge towards this persona. And that's something where I don't feel really clear. So I think this would help me like massively really then to take the next step. And that's really like the foundation. After like the foundation we already set, that's the foundation to really make this my challenge, also to know who I create this challenge for, and just to feel confident in choosing the right person with the right problem, and to address it, of course, in ways that they can be free of it.
That's amazing. And that's so important. We all know we need to have this avatar, this client avatar. We need to have to address someone in order to speak to someone so that the message gets to those people. And where are you in this process right now? Did you do some work on that or not yet? Or
Yes. I mean, basically, I feel like since at least half a year, when not longer, I was like sort of feeling into it and writing things down. And I think I moved and I progressed, but I still like haven't got the real clarity within me. So it's like I've started, and I mentioned about this person being maybe suffering from burnout, like feeling exhausted. And that's like really where I focused a lot already my energy. But I think probably I would need to explore a little bit more in towards this direction to feel really that it's what I really want. So now I'm not 100% sure if that's what I really want, or how specifically that person, like where in the process, for example, of feeling burned out they are. Like, are they like really in a state of having no energy, feeling quite even depressed, or are they just a bit better, so they are not as like feeling low? That's something I would need to feel into, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for sharing this with me. So 6 months, more or less, you were working already on that, feeling into that, writing down the ideas. And I'm curious, what did you find out? I mean, you mentioned, yes, you want to work with someone who is burned out, but you don't know yet where they are in this stage, super low or just a little bit. But what have you found out until now? Maybe let's start there with your permission, and then let's see where we go.
Yes. So what I can share also, because I've been through this process, the first thing I noticed when I went down that road of feeling burned out was like my mental capacity decreased. So before, when I worked on tasks, like I was really fast and, I had a lot of ideas coming to me. And this got really like bad. So it took me so much longer to actually finish something or to come up with a new idea. Before, it took me maybe 5 minutes, it took me an hour, or I couldn't even do it at all. So that's something definitely I feel. I mean, I definitely know how that feels. You just cannot operate mentally in a way you could before.
Okay, so your huge benefit is, or I believe the thing, if you don't mind me sharing, the thing which makes it so natural for you is you have been there. You know how it feels, like any stage of that.
Yes.
And what you have observed for something, what you really want to help people with is this decreased mental capacity, like because they are so busy with, I mean, getting the energy back, they don't work the same like they did when they are on a high energy level.
Yes.
And this, of course, fuels the stress even more because they want to, but they can't. And they want to, but they can't. This is what, yeah. So this is one point you want to work on, or is this something you want to make as a center of the program?
Not necessarily. I think for now, it's just good for me to share a bit like the different steps, and I can see it like, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Because then I also realized, because I wasn't sure like what was going on back then, like why is everything taking me so much longer? And then, I was just trying to drink more coffee, or just, to try some sort of external thing that gives me energy, or like gives me just also a boost for my brain, but obviously it didn't work. I mean, so that's something. And so being slower, the brain is more foggy, and then, also obviously it's a feeling of then uncertainty, I think, because you don't really know what's going on with you. I feel that for me at least was a really big problem. I was really not knowing, what's going on. Is it something, am I like physically sick, or is it a phase, and then I don't know how to cope with it? So I feel that's also something a lot of people probably having a lot of fear, like fear what is going on with me. I think that's something that's probably overlooked, or I haven't looked into before so much. So the fear that comes with the whole uncertainty of what is going on with a person who's suffering from this, I think that creates obviously more stress. More stress leads to further burnout. So, and then I think it's like, I mean, also emotionally, you know, I started at some point to detach, you know, from work. Before, I was so passionate. I was like, it was just like my everything. I had so much creativity and so much passion. And then it just, like, the project that was so dear to my heart got canceled, and I was so relieved, like, because it took the weight of my shoulders. I mean, because back then I just couldn't handle it anymore, and I was not able. I think that's important too. I did speak up, so to say, also at this workplace, that it's too much, that like we need support, or I need support. Probably I would have said we as the team. So I couldn't really speak up my needs. I think that's probably also something that's really important, because only because you not prioritize your needs for a long time, you probably move into the whole spiral of this burnout taking you down, because you invest so much energy in other things but not really looking after your needs. So it drains you after a while, obviously. And yeah, and with that comes also, yeah, a lot of emotional, I don't know, just a lot of things come up. I think all the pain probably from the past, you don't feel really balanced anymore. So I think you're just out of balance also emotionally, not able to regulate so much and so good. Like, it just might overwhelm you, you know, like a sad feeling or a worry. You cannot, like in the past, maybe just breathe and let it go. It's just like, you know, it will hunt you more, so to say. So I think also that's important to have to get in touch with the emotions, to feel them and to heal them then, obviously.
Yeah. So I will reflect this back to you. Let's see that there were a lot of really, in my opinion, interesting points you made. And so what you said, you want to help people, or you want to work on this decreased mental capacity, which is always going on when they are very stressed or have a burnout. And also dealing with this fear and uncertainty. Oh my God, what's going on? What's wrong with me? Is it something physical, or what's going on? And then this fear, of course, leads to more stress, which leads to more burnout. And what you observed also in yourself was this getting detached from from your work. You were very passionate about what you did, but because of this state you were in, you couldn't anymore so much. So there's, would you say, sort of an isolation a little bit? Is that correct? Do I get this? Or like even this not dedicating so much anymore?
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, in the free time, just to do something that's just like nothing, basically, just to relax, so to say, because it's too much to do like anything. So also socially, just to detach more.
Yeah. Okay. And then what you said also is the inability of speaking up your needs, and what lies beyond that, even the recognition of my needs.
Yes.
Like these two together, and to prioritize, like, you know,
Yes.
what is now necessary for my goals, but more for myself, and like boundaries maybe. And then you said, yeah, the emotional baggage. And when you're then having this heavy energy and feeling totally out of balance, having all these emotions coming up. And when we are in a state where we are low, well, we attract everything, and we often feel also the old emotions that come up. And what I understand you say, you use the word hauntings, and that's very, or you get haunted by these old emotions and something that comes up. So you want to help them too with this.
Yes.
And yeah, anything else which comes to your mind?
I mean, definitely self-worth, because I think this is very strongly connected to feeling enough, and not feeling enough in the first place, to really overstep, to not prioritize your needs, to not step up for yourself, to not speak up in a way so it gets seen and heard and acknowledged what your needs are. So just giving more because you feel you need to. So I think that's a big part in my work. I mean, that's a big part of my journey to raise my self-esteem and self-worth, because also I didn't feel I was enough. So I need to do more to get more recognition and acknowledgement from the outside. So really building self-esteem, like in the program, I think is definitely like a big pillar as well to do that.
That's amazing. Yeah, this self-esteem, I'm enough.
Yes.
Teaching them how to remember that they are enough.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think just connecting back to the heart, because just connecting back to your heart, just like, because for me, I think that's something like that was major. You know, I was living a lot from the head and from like what I thought, from mental concepts, what like I created a picture how my life should be or what would look good, but not so much what feels true to me. So just like connecting to your heart and living authentically, like what's you, what makes you you, and just to shine that light that's basically within you, not what somebody else thinks you should or shouldn't do. Just owning your own power and expressing yourself.
So there is, after this I'm enoughness, of course, how can you get there? Or what you observed also is like this disconnection with your body, because you're always in your head, which
Yes.
you have to go back to your heart and feel yourself again. Beautiful.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the baselines, because I think when we are in touch, like body, mind, heart is in touch, I think you cannot even go so deep into this state of, you know, overruling your body, because the body sends signals, obviously, because it has a good reason to do so. And the signals become stronger as you don't listen to them. So I think that's quite a crucial part to bring back that connection. Yeah.
So the body-mind connection, but also also the connection to your heart and your authenticity.
Yes, completely.
So what else?
Just, yeah, I mean, because I think they lost their joy, you know, because I think this person before was quite a very open, fun person who really, you know, enjoyed life as well. But then they lost their joy, they lost their passion, they lost their, I don't know, sense of identity. Maybe also they don't even really know, like, who am I, like, because I thought I'm this job I'm doing, or like it could be a job, or it could be like just anything you really focus on, you know. Could be if you're in a family, could be because that's my role as a father, as a mother, and that's completely me. And then something changes and you realize that's being taken away from you, and then your identity has been like stripped away from you, and you feel completely, obviously, scared about this whole situation. Like the identity is also in a complete crisis mode, because you need to question things you've been quite sure they are the way you want them to be.
Yeah, that's an important point. So what you now told me in this short time is about 12 very important steps for your program, which you want to have. And you saw me taking notes, because I will send it then to you, that you have also have it written. But just by brainstorming there with me in this short time, you could come up with so many, not even, I wouldn't even call these ideas, because it's not something you knew it. It was so natural for you because you went there. I will read it one more time so you have it also. You want to work on to help them with this decreased mental capacity. You want to help them with this fear of not knowing what's going on, this uncertainty. You want to help them with, well, this fear leads to more stress. So with the stress, of course. Then also there comes this detachment. They get detached from everything around and their work and what they wanted, which again leads to more stress. Then this inability to speak up for their needs and what lies beyond this, even establishing the boundaries and knowing what they need and then communicating, obviously. Prioritizing, helping them to prioritize in every area. And then helping them to deal with the emotional baggage that comes not only from this low state, but which will also affect and bring up all the emotion, which then makes us feel out of balance. And you get haunted by these old stories, emotions, feelings. And then helping them also to work with even their free time or what to do, giving them maybe a plan. That's what I understood, or suggestions. How can they get out of that? What can they do instead of just being in their head? Then a very core element is the self-esteem, teaching them to remember that they are enough. Also connecting back to their heart, going from the head where the worries are into their heart. And this also is connected with authenticity, not reacting to the fears, but rather acting out of their heart, authenticity. And then I put it as an extra point, just because I understood it like that, the body-mind connection also in the sense of this is not something separate. The life doesn't only works here, it's a whole thing. Yes. It's like, yeah. And then the lost sense of identity when the world collapses. And then it also brings with them that they question everything, what they did, what they do, and even giving them maybe a chance to build a new identity.
Absolutely. That sounds like a big piece of work, like to do all of this, right? Oh my God, like when I just imagine, like when you say all of this, obviously I went through all the stages and it's a continuous process, but it's a lot of work, right? To address all of these points now. I just feel it's a lot. This really sounds like also like a program, because for now, I'm thinking about the challenge and I'm like 3 weeks is, I mean, you can do as much as you can, especially with amazing methods. But I think I need to, like, probably out of all of this, I should need like to pick the most relevant ones that I can cover within a 21-day challenge, because otherwise it wouldn't feel like being fully acknowledging, the big piece of work all of that might be, and that it might take, for me, I think at least maybe more than 21 days, to cover this. I'm not sure, because I mean, it's also trying, could be as well that it works. But for me, I think it would give me more peace of mind if I would have like a few, like the biggest chunks, so to say, I can address in the challenge, and then maybe see if something else or additional content would be beneficial towards that. So I think that's, for me, I would need to find that out, like when I reflect on everything we just discussed.
How can you find out?
How can I find out? So I think I can find out if I mean, I don't know. I can try. I think a big part is definitely trying, because like focusing, like when I have the ideas of the what I want to address, I can narrow it down and write down maybe what methods I could bring in, what tools I can implement so I can address the different areas. So I think that's something I can definitely do, and I mean I will do to feel good. So I can really feel good. That's what I want to address, and that's what I'm going to give them. So I can have really the clarity, because obviously I don't want to promise anything or like create that I don't then feel it will like live up to the promise, so to say.
And I'm just curious, how will you know before that? I mean, when you say you don't want to offer something where you don't know if you can keep the promise, how will you know before?
I cannot. I mean, I cannot know it before. I can just like to my best knowledge, obviously, and from my experience, I can prepare.
Exactly.
And that's what
Yeah.
that's so I cannot know it. That's for sure. I cannot know except
No, you cannot know it, but you said something very important. You cannot know it, meaning you have to try. There is
yes,
no guarantee, but you have your experience. You know what helped you.
exactly.
And what helped you, if it helped you, why wouldn't it help someone in this with the same problem? Also.
Exactly. It's never been packaged like this before, but I've helped obviously also a lot of others now, and just not in this specific way I'm going to do the challenge. But of course, I have my experience from myself, the experience from the clients I've worked with, and the benefits I know they got from it. So I have a lot of experience to actually to use then.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So what you will do now is taking out the core elements and making a challenge. And then out of the challenge, you will do a program if you feel like it, but that's so far the plan. And now I'm just curious, what we talked now, which one would you say are the core elements? Which one is the most important, or the ones?
So I think the biggest core element for me personally is always the self-esteem, because for me, that's the root really. Like, if you feel enough, you prioritize yourself better. If you feel enough, you set boundaries. If you feel enough, you take care after your needs, after your body. You don't dismiss it. So I think that's really like a core element, definitely. The rest is like showing up as it's showing up as I don't speak up for myself, I get stressed. And so I think that's definitely one core element, is the feeling enough. Worthiness is a big chunk that's in the middle. Oftentimes the other things just are the layers on the top, so to say, how it's going to be expressed. Like, you don't speak up because you don't feel enough, or you feel your needs are not so important as the needs of someone else or the company or whatever. Yeah.
So you just took out the core piece, which resonates with you, because this is the underlying concept of all the others, which is the self-esteem. Because if you feel I'm enough, then you set your boundaries, then you take care of yourself, then you prioritize, then you feel worthy of self-care, but also in work life and wherever.
Yes.
So there it is, one core element. What can you do with that?
I mean, I can create like the process on how to address that part of feeling not enough, and then obviously also to build the feeling of worthiness and enoughness within the challenge. I mean, that's something I've done a lot, and so that's something I feel really comfortable. And I think what I was also thinking was, I could structure the whole challenge based on, Marissa's teaching on the 3 main things that are wrong with all of us. So I'm not enough, I'm different, and I can't connect, because there is this isolation going on also in the process of the burnout. You're not in touch with yourself. You're not in touch then again with your outside world, because you lose your passion, and you maybe recline also from friends, and you just go inwards. So I think connection is a really, really important piece of also gaining back your shine and just really enjoying life fully, because also that's one of the biggest parts, in mental health struggles, the lost connections, like from Johann Hari. I'm sure you've heard of him also. So I think that's definitely a chunk I want to address. And then it's not available to me because, I felt a long time probably it's not available to me to get better, because I didn't know I could. I didn't even know what was wrong. So I think also it's available, it's so important. Whatever you desire, it's going to be available to you. And so that's basically what I was having in the back of my mind, to use the 3 override like overarching topics, and then to blend in all the other things into this topic.
So 3 weeks, 3 main problems, a
Yes.
challenge.
Yes.
And there you can bring in all the topics we just also, well, not bringing in, but they are all connected with this main thing. So that's amazing. 3 weeks, 3 problems, helping them to shine again. And then I would like to go back to the very first question you had, like, who to address? Who is it that, you want to address all people who have this, but now I think you wanted to get some clarity also about who is it? Who is that person? And where are you there in this process? So
So yeah, I was just really now being more conscious and aware of when I had clients, like what do I like about, which client do I like to work with a lot. And so I think because that's really important for me also to feel, obviously, to attract clients that I would love to work with. And they are just really open and ready to do this. I don't feel like I need to persuade like a person who's not ready to do the deep internal work, really. So I feel they are just ready and on the edge of wanting to turn their life around. Maybe they've tried other things before even, but they know now this will work for them, and they are like really excited also in doing this now. They are not like super hesitant. They are just like, let's do it. Like, I'm done. I'm ready to move forward. I am where I am, but I know where I'm going to be, and this challenge will like get me there and help me to get there. And so I think they're more, just from my experience from the past, they're more likely to be female, because that's just from my experience. I have more female clients who are just open, I feel, to do that work. So I don't, for me, it's always the thing, I don't want to exclude someone, but I'm just now speaking from experience. I just felt that women were more open towards also doing the work with like deep states of relaxation, working with the subconscious. And so most probably they're more likely to be female. And they are able, obviously, to afford the program, and they are happy to invest in themselves. So for them, it's something they're just like, yeah, they're ready to do it. They're ready on their mental capacity, on their emotional capacity to change something, in their life circumstances, so they can also like participate, obviously, and they do participate, and they take it seriously. Yes, it's like it's the right direction. Like, I don't know.
What I hear you say, I will reflect this back. Then
Yeah.
let's see if something else comes up.
Yes.
You want to address especially women who are ready and open, who want to do this, who are very excited, who are ready to move forward, and they know where they are, but they also know that there is a way out, which is your program or your challenge.
Yes.
They are happy to invest in this work, and they are ready mentally and emotionally ready to go.
Yes, they are so ready. And I'm ready. Yeah.
Wow. So there is this ideal client who you address. This challenge is for women who are ready and excited to move forward, to go to the other side of where they are now, who are mentally and emotionally ready to move. That's what you said. How does this sound to you?
Yeah, that sounds really good. So it sounds really good. Now I'm just thinking, like, do I need to say, like, what do they do specifically? You know, probably you've been there with the avatar and the personas. Like, I'm never sure how specific this needs to be, or if it's enough, so to say, just to have like the idea of this persona. Like, you know, I cannot really say, is this person working, I don't know, in the fashion world as a creative? Mostly I feel they have a creative side to them, but they don't need to necessarily work in a creative field. But like from just what I feel, they oftentimes have a like sort of creativity within them, but it doesn't necessarily express in a specific area. But I think that's just because people who are more creative are more open also towards what I want to probably address, because I think there could be burnout also, like in a hedge fund manager could have the same root cause problems, but that's not so much the person I see like then just working with me.
So you just answered my question I had in my head, so I don't even have to speak, which was why? Why is this important? But you already told me it's because you want to work with creative women. Because what you have experienced is that when they are in a creative field, then they are more likely open also for creative ways to get better. Is that what I understood?
It
right?
really resonates. Yeah, that really resonates. Yeah.
Okay, so that's about, you just answered your questions. You don't need me anymore. You coach yourself. You answered. Do I need to say what they are doing? Well, now you know, you don't have to, but if it makes you feel better, and if it makes sense, because my question would be, why is this important what they do? But because you can address them, these people who are in a creative field, because you've this experience that they are more open also to creative ideas and alternative ideas of getting better.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah.
It's
Okay.
correct. The only thing, if I may, the only thing is for me always, like, I don't want to exclude. Sometimes for me now, I've come really far, because also when I can really see this challenge now as a, maybe like, you know, as a entity for itself, you know, because for me it's like, but I also, you know, I don't want to exclude working with one-on-one clients who might be completely on a different place in their life, you know, who have a different topic they want to work with me. because that's something I think for me, it helps me a lot if I see this as one part. So I include a lot of people with a persona in this part, which is only one container. So I don't exclude others. I think for me, because that's sometimes also, I guess, what keeps me stuck in moving forward with this process, that I feel I leave people out, which would then make me feel bad.
That's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. So you don't want to exclude anyone, and you've observed already that this is also something that's holding you back when you think of, oh, but if I specify in this, or if I do that, then maybe I exclude someone. And with your permission, let's have a look there, if you like.
Yeah.
Because when you do, for example, a challenge for creative people, and you say for creative women, I offer XYZ for creative women who are ready to move, to go to the other side. Who do you exclude? Who is not creative?
I mean, creative women is a really broad way to, it's a really broad way, but that's, I think, what feels good. And it's a very vague expression, so to say. Everyone could feel creative, or like, and I think that's just the most important part. I mean, obviously, I not include men if I talk about creative women. But I think maybe that's fine. I think it could evolve for me also. I can work now with creative women, and then in the future I can also see if I want to work with creative men, with queer men. I think, I mean, it doesn't always need a stamp on it, but yeah.
So what I hear you say is that you start with one challenge, and then you see where it goes, and then you can do another challenge if that's necessary, or another program, or another offer.
Yes, absolutely.
So you start with one, and that doesn't mean that this will be the only one.
Exactly. It's just the beginning, right? and yeah.
Okay. So you are now happy with creative women, because if there, then come some men also, you can do the same for them, or a new program. And then the other thing you said before is about this challenge, or a program, group program, or individual work. And when you do a group program, is it then still possible to individually work with people?
Yes, absolutely.
And when you do a group program, how does it even help you to work individually with people?
I mean, because I focus with the group program, obviously, my time to help a lot in one time slot, so to say. I mean, I then also have time to do one-on-one work, like more probably focused actually then. So if I would just do one-on-one all the time. So I think that my impact will be bigger. And I think also better then, because the one-on-one will also be more focused.
Yeah. And how do people know you for this one-on-one?
How they like in how do they find out about me, or
Yes,
about it within my group program, right?
exactly. So what I hear you say now, this is very interesting. You were afraid of excluding something, but now you tell me, what is now with this exclusion problem? Do you think you exclude someone?
I mean, I know I help much more people in that way than in any other way. So I think I mean, of course I exclude, but my impact at the same time is much bigger on the people I work with than if I do it in another way. So I mean, it's the way to do it if I want to create that impact and help so many people that I just want to help with.
Yeah, and as you said, from this group program, also one-on-one can come out. And then also, if this group program, if you find, well, there's another need for another one, you can always do another one. And you know how important it is to be very careful with the words we use in your work, from what we learned. And what can you use instead of the word exclude? I exclude this and this. Yes, you include these people, these women, but I mean, when we exclude, we don't say you are not allowed, but we just focus more, right?
Exactly.
It's not that we say you can't.
No.
But you include these people who have, you just focus on these people who have this certain problem, who are women, because you start there. And they feel then also that they are the one you're talking to. So what word can you use instead of exclude when you talk to yourself and you make this program?
I mean, like you said, focus. I'm focusing because if focus is only like, it doesn't take things out. It's just that you narrow your vision, so to say, to something which still allows everything else to be there. I mean, it's not that it's not there anymore. But you just focus on this point of time in this direction, and then you can always like change your focus. So I think for me, it's focus and inclusion, because with this inclusion of focus, I also create a group of humans that can connect to each other, which is truly empowering. So I include and build even a community with the focus that I myself create. And I think that's something that's for me like really positive and empowering. And I think that's beautiful because it shifts completely the focus.
Okay, so you said, I create and I build a community with the focus I set. How do you like that?
I love it so much. That's so beautiful. That really makes me excited and happy, because I know it's so important, to have your community where you feel just empowered and people who go the journey with you and build you up. And like, because that's, I think, crucial, especially in hard times. It's so crucial. And so I think that's something that really gives me a great feeling in focusing.
Wow. So what you did in this short time is you crystallized out the main points of a program, a huge program, but you even narrowed it down to the core elements. What you said, you can either go for the self-esteem or the three main problems inspired by Marissa Peer, and then building it around. And then what you also worked out is your avatar or your clients. And this will be creative women who are ready to move and to know where they are, but also ready to go where they want to be and to invest in their journey.
Yes.
And you found out with this focus, you build a community for them. And you also found this is what you worked out this short time. So it was just a reflection back now. What shifted in this time when we spoke?
So for me, I think it's actually the building community, the focus. I think that's just like for me, such a positive new way to see it. So I don't exclude, but I create, even with my focus, an empowering community, which will be so much even more beneficial in addition to the whole program. It's something that goes beyond the program. So it even creates its own sort of field of energy and that radiates out even further. So I think that's, for me, just incredible. And I think for me, it's allowing myself, when we reflected on the person and the struggles and that they are ready to move, I think it's allowing myself to try this as a start, because there can be more. But it's a start, and it's just really, for me, I have the ability, the right to make the decision and to create that, whatever I choose to create.
Beautiful. So your shift and your takeaways, what I understand you saying, is like, from excluding, you have the feeling you do not exclude, but you create.
Yes.
You focus, and by focusing, you're building a community. And also you allow yourself to try this out, because that's a start. That's your first program for now with this topic. And after that, you will see whatever comes out then from that, right?
Yes.
So what are the next steps you're going to do?
No, I'm just feeling so good. So the next steps will be to write things out, just like the program, the core, and then each week what I really want to address, how I'm going to address it. So I'm gonna specifically write out how the program looks for this person we just talked about. And I think that's the next step, because then I can create the website and the rest of it. So this would be the next step, to make it specific.
And when will you do that?
I will start today, because I love when everything is fresh and the energy is just high. So I will start today in write it down and create. Yes, being creative. That's what I like.
Beautiful. How do you feel about starting today?
I feel really good. I feel excited. I feel happy and motivated now, because the picture of the community that will be created through this program, I didn't realize would give me so much drive, actually, to do this. Yes, so it's really good.
Amazing. And I can't wait what you create and what you will tell me next time when we see each other.
Definitely.
So, yeah, thank you so much for being here with me today. And yeah, I'm so curious, and I'm so certain that something great will be created.
Yes, thank you so much, Monica. This was really, truly, again, empowering, and just, I don't know, the feeling of authenticity and empowerment. Now it's just like an engine that now again gets me, because I feel and I know why I want to do it, and I think that's what I was lacking before, and now I got it, and now it's just like the engine keeps me moving further and further, and I'm also so excited to tell you next time what I create.
That's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.